In this video, I would like to share with you how we can deal with multiple callbacks from different server-side calls. For example, to make things very simple, here I'm using Visual Studio, but the idea could be shared also with other environments different from .NET because the concept of the JavaScript callback is the same. Anyway, in Visual Studio, I have the possibility to add a script manager. And the script manager gives me the option to add enable page methods, which is a very quick way to create uh, some Ajax enabled calls. And here I can create a script which calls a server-side function, and I can create a function here. I can call it my first call. I don't need any parameter, and I can just create a page method, and here I will create a server-side code for my page method, which can be this one. So I create uh, I have to create a web method. Web method. Web method. I add this using statement. Okay, and now I can create my public static string because I'm returning a string, and I can call it my call one. I don't need any parameter in this case, and I just return a string, which is a very basic string, which is a number. Okay. And now I create exactly the same method, but I call it my call2, and I return 2. So that's not the object of this video, so I will now turn it to my my client side code, which is which I'm using to call this method, this server side method. I don't have any parameter here. And here I have a callback function, which is alert content, or else it will give me an error. So I will add here an input button, type of button, the name I can call it test, and a non-click event is my first call. Okay, if I've done everything correctly, when I click here, I will receive my callback message, which is 1. Now, I want to have 2 calls. So let's create a second call, which is exactly the same as this one. Just calling it my just call it my call 2, and here I call it my second call. And now I will create another function, and I call it make calls, which calls the two functions. So I copy here this call again, and this is my second call, and instead of this one, I change it with this one. So what changed that now I'm calling two server-side functions, and in fact it will give me two alerts, one next to the other. So what's the objective of what we have seen so far? So far we have seen that we made two callbacks, one after the other, but maybe what we want to achieve is to create a third variable. For example, let's call it my new var, my var equal to my new value, and my new value, and we want to write inside this my new value the return strings that we get from these two calls. So what happens if I do, for example, if I did something like this, my new var, my new value equal to content, and here again I place, and I don't want this alert anymore. And in this case, I put again my new value equal to content. And now what I would like to do is um, to return an alert, which is my new value. But what I would like to achieve is that rather than, if I did this as we have done so far, you understand immediately that it will not work, because simply when the call completes, this my first call completes and this second call completes, is that's a callback function. So it will complete after this alert is called. What I want to do now is to say, okay, I want to have this my new value, which is the content of this first function plus the content of this second function. So how can I do that? I can do a very simple thing. I can create this my new value, that rather than my new value, I can create an array. So let's create an array, but my new array, my array. And here, instead of my new value equal to content, I can do my sorry, instead of this one, I can do my array dot push. So I put this content inside my array, and again I do the same thing here. Now I have created an array which is after every call, this array is pushed with another value. But now, if I do that, I will still get an undefined value. I even get an error because this array. Sorry, I've done another mistake, which is not my value, but is my array dot toString. Okay, if I do that, I will still get an error because the array is undefined. The array is undefined because this array, the values of this array are set inside those two functions, which are callback functions, and they will get triggered after this alert is showing something. If I want to see if I did everything correctly, first of all, I have to do like this because otherwise I didn't create an array, and and I can try if everything works to do my array dot push values. Okay, so if I call again this function, it will return me just values because the other values which are added in this array are added after the callback has finished. So what I can do here is something like this. Something like this. Rather than setting this alert here, I can set it after each function in the callback function and say if the array, my array, dot length is equal to 3, which means that we have added 3 elements. One element is added here, one element is added here, and the other element is added here. So if my array length equal to 3, then I can show this alert. And again, I do the same here. So what happens? I have forgotten. Okay, what happens? Let's see if everything works fine. And sure, it works fine. Because what happens here is, first of all, maybe I should be safer and put this value here in front. So when I make this call, first of all, I added this array, this value. Next, when I make this call, I add the return value of this callback function, which will end only if the array is equal to 3, so 1 plus 2 plus 3, it will give me the alert. And again, this happens here. So the first callback function will not trigger the alert. Just the last one, which will be called, will trigger my alert and will show the results I'm looking for. So let's try it one last time if everything works fine. And what we will see is that the order of those values can be non-sequential because we could have that one callback function maybe is delayed or takes more time. For example, if I would have some operation here going on, it's very likely that one function might take longer than the other. So the order of the array can be different every time it's so I think this is what you wanted to achieve, and I hope everything is